What if your home, your temple, your very history, was claimed by someone else? What if a line on a map, drawn more than 100 years ago, determined whether you lived in peace, or went to war? For Thailand and Cambodia, this is not a hypothetical question. This is their reality. Two nations, bound by geography, culture, and shared history, yet divided by politics, colonial legacies, and national pride. In 2025, the long-simmering conflict over the Preah Vihear Temple erupted into full-scale war. A war that displaced hundreds of thousands, cost countless lives, and shook the stability of Southeast Asia. To understand how this happened, we must journey deep into history. Centuries ago, the Khmer Empire ruled much of Southeast Asia. Its influence stretched across what is today Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam. Magnificent temples like Angkor Wat and Preah Vihear were built not just as places of worship, but as symbols of power. Over time, Siam, later Thailand, rose as a regional power, competing with the Khmer. Wars shifted borders. Temples changed hands. But one truth remained: both nations saw these places as theirs. Then came colonialism. In the 19th century, France colonized Cambodia. Thailand, fiercely independent, signed treaties with Western powers to preserve its sovereignty. But these treaties forced Siam to cede land to France. In 1907, the French drew a border map that placed Preah Vihear inside Cambodia. Thailand never accepted this. For the French, it was just a line. For the people, it was identity stolen. In 1962, the International Court of Justice ruled that Preah Vihear belonged to Cambodia. It was meant to end the dispute. Instead, it ignited new resentment. Thais saw it as an international betrayal. Cambodians celebrated it as justice restored. The temple became more than a building. It became a symbol of national pride, of sovereignty, of defiance. Decades later, in 2008, Cambodia sought UNESCO World Heritage recognition for Preah Vihear. Once again, the temple ignited fury in Thailand. Thai nationalists accused Cambodia of stealing land. Skirmishes broke out along the border. Dozens of soldiers were killed. The temple, built to honor the gods, had become a battlefield. Fast forward to 2025. On May 28, a firefight erupted in the Emerald Triangle. A Cambodian soldier was killed. Both sides accused each other of starting the clash. Troops massed at the border. Villagers fled, fearing what was to come. By July, the fragile peace had shattered. On July 24, Thailand launched airstrikes using F-16 fighter jets. Cambodia responded with rockets and artillery. The sound of explosions thundered through forests and rice fields. For 5 days, the world watched as two neighbors descended into chaos. Dozens of soldiers died. Civilians were caught in the crossfire. Nearly 500,000 people were displaced. Families abandoned their homes. Children cried in overcrowded shelters. Markets stood empty, temples scarred by bullets. For the border communities, life would never be the same. But war is never just about territory. It is also about politics. In Cambodia, the government used nationalism to unite a divided people. In Thailand, leaders portrayed the war as a defense of sovereignty and honor. The conflict gave both governments a rallying cry. Ordinary people, however, paid the price. International reaction was swift. China, a powerful player in both nations, called for calm. ASEAN struggled to act, exposing its weakness in handling regional crises. The United States and Europe urged peace, while aid groups rushed to support refugees. But diplomacy could not erase the scars of war. The ceasefire on July 28 silenced the guns, but not the hostility. Border violations continued. Trust was shattered. The future remained uncertain. Beyond the politics, this war carried deep cultural meaning. Preah Vihear is not just stone in history. It is memory. It is pride. For Cambodians, it is proof of survival against colonialism and foreign domination. For Thais, it is a reminder of land they believe was unfairly taken. A temple became the embodiment of national identity. The economic impact was severe. Trade between the two nations collapsed. Tourism plummeted. Investors pulled back, fearing instability. The war proved that history can still disrupt the future. The human stories are the most powerful. A mother carrying her children through fields of smoke. A soldier writing a final letter before battle. A farmer watching his rice fields burn. These are the faces of a conflict that the world may call small, but for those who lived it, it was everything. The Thailand-Cambodia War of 2025 is a lesson. It reminds us that colonial borders are not just lines on a map. They are scars that bleed generations later. It reminds us that nationalism, while powerful, can be destructive when fueled by anger. And it reminds us that peace requires more than silence. It requires trust, forgiveness, and courage. For now, the ceasefire holds. But history whispers warnings. Unless Thailand and Cambodia confront their past together, the cycle may repeat. The temple will remain. The memories will remain. And the question of peace will remain unanswered. This is the story of Thailand and Cambodia. A story of two nations caught between past and future. A story that asks us all, will history define us, or will we choose to rise above it?